So what I want to do is also my favorite part in every episode is get our guests to tell us who they really are in terms of uh, how you got here. And I'm not really interested so much in your resume. I mean, your resume speaks for itself. But growing up as a kid, I mean, I'm sure that you had no idea that this is what you were going to end up doing. So, share with us what were some early signs for you that now looking back at those days that you thought, oh, that's when I started to kind of form my interest and also my potential to be successful in this space. So, uh, share with us some of those experiences.
Sure, absolutely. Well, I have a unique background in that I grew up originally in England and Singapore before I moved to the US. And so by the time I was 12, I had lived in three different continents, and adapted myself, as I moved from one school to the next. A lot of people when I moved to the US probably thought I was from the US because I went to an American school in Singapore and really kind of, learned how to speak less English, more American. Didn't understand any of the pop culture. So when I came here, it was like, I don't know any of the sports or the movies or a lot of the pop culture, but I sounded, just like you, right? And so um I think that kind of is, some people might call it a chameleon, but that ability to just jump into a new environment and have the confidence that, I may feel like, a fish out of water right now, but in no time at all, this group is going to be, we're going to be friends, we're going to be coworkers, we're going to all work together. So that ability to, A, work with really diverse teams, but B, also just learn to be okay with feeling a little bit uncomfortable, a little bit outside of your comfort level. Some people might call it the imposter syndrome in a new company. You feel that way in new schools, you feel that way in new countries, right? So I think that just really, made me who I am. I think both of my parents are immigrants. My mom was born in Cuba and fled Cuba in 1960. My dad was born in the UK and came over here in his mid 20s. And so, still, I guess my children are the first generation born in the US. But I really, embrace that, you know, ability, whether it was in school or in work, to enjoy working with, very diverse groups and diverse teams. Amazon's huge, right? But that's one of the best things about it is that it is so huge that there's a lot of diversity of the people and the teams and the projects and the goals and so very similar to being a seller, how there's just constant,
Oh yeah.
continuous learning and keeping up with things, right? So keeps you on your toes, like you get to learn a lot. And I'm one of those people that just loves learning, continuously learning. And I'm okay to feel uncomfortable, and try to figure out how to find a formula or a process that you know, helps us all kind of work, seamlessly together. So yeah, early in my career, I knew that I wanted to, do something in business. I think when I was really young, I thought, oh, I'm going to be a sports entertainment lawyer because, I probably thought that's how I'm going to get to work with Michael Jordan and make all this money. And as time goes on, I learned my real passion was around marketing, and I was probably a bit of a late bloomer and like, class clown in my younger days. And, by the time I was in, university was when I really had found, what was I passionate about? And it was marketing. I really enjoyed thinking about, some of the psychological aspects of how to meet, your consumer needs. I really enjoyed a lot of the branding and business aspects from packaging to finance. Like, it was finally something that I saw you could use what you learn in school and actually put it into a real life application. So, like a lot of people with a marketing degree, you kind of go into sales first, um, which is kind of very different role. But was a great, once again, that fish out of water. I was selling products that I was less familiar with than my peers, that went to school for chemistry. And here I was, not a science geek selling a product to chemists and folks that were formulating, products, be it, in household cleaners, or be it oil and gas. None of these industries were my specialty, but kind of being a jack of all trades and learning, how are these chemicals used across these different industries and different applications was part of that continuous learning where I really thrived in that environment. And then that's really what brought me to Amazon.